Play Forever is Eldora's corporate responsibility commitment to protect the environment and support our community.
Mm-hmm.
So for today's purposes, I'll focus on the environment, but if you have any questions about our community initiatives, I can also talk to those. So our three primary focuses are energy, waste, and land. So back in 2019, Powder did a powder-wide with all, at that time I think it was 13 business units, including their corporate office in Park City, Powder Bird, their rafting company. They also had Outside Magazine and 9 different ski resorts. We did a full company-wide audit and used this consulting firm 3 Degrees, and we captured scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions.
Yeah.
And so basically each business unit, so Mount Bachelor, Killington, Eldora, all the Powder business units, or Powder resorts, did an audit. And so I, on behalf of Eldora, submitted all scope 1, 2, 3 emissions, all the electricity that we use through Excel, and then stationary and mobile combustion, so all of our lifts, all of our compressors, snowmaking system, all of our vehicle fleet, including our groomers, our trucks, UTVs, snowmobiles, all of it.
Yeah.
HVAC equipment, fugitive emissions, you name it, we grabbed it. Refrigerants, so we did that. And then submitted to Powder, and then this company basically came back and said, okay, you use 75% of your electricity in snowmaking and lift operations, and I mean, I have a whole chart, but the bulk of it is for those operations.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, they were like, this is how you can reduce your footprint. This is what each business unit or each resort's goals, suggestions are.
Yeah.
And then this is what we are suggesting Powder-wide. So Powder left it up to the resorts, because we're located all over the country, to focus on those goals that resonated with us. With Eldora, it was migrating our fleet 100% to electric, procuring 100% renewable energy by 2025, and increasing building automation and smart controls. And so there are other goals that are Powder-wide goals, like reducing emissions by 50% by 2030, having a 75% waste diversion rate, and we do also continue to work towards those goals, and they're incorporated into our resort operating plan. So basically the infrastructure around this climate action plan, you have your climate action plan up, that's at the Powder level, at the corporate level. Then at the resort level, we have our Play Forever operating plan. And what that is all of the environmental goals and our community goals for the fiscal year that I work with each of our department heads to determine what those goals are, and that way we can budget for it. And then we submit that to Powder in the summer, and then we get approval in August. And then I work with the department heads throughout the year to make sure that they are meeting their environmental goals. So for example, lift maintenance, one of their environmental goals this year is to invest in recyclable lift grease. And so I would call Mikey Fields and be like, hey, did you buy your grease yet? Here's the code, this is where you code it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how that works. And then we track it, because every environmental project has a subcode in our accounting system, Coupa. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but when our accounting system has a subcode environmental. So it would be Eldora, so when you're coding it, Eldora, lift maintenance, the department, operating supplies,
Yeah.
right? Or if it was a snow blower, electric snow blower, small tools and equipment, and then it would have that subcode environmental. And then at the end of the season, I can pull up everything that has that environmental subcode. And then Powder has this expectation and this goal that each resort spends at least 3% of your NOI, your net operating income, on environmental and community projects.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm curious what like the public perception has been of these initiatives, or what sort of the challenges are in communicating them.
So we don't really communicate these externally. Goals are something that once we meet them, we will scream them from the rooftops. Like you probably saw the newsletter yesterday where we announced that we were 100% renewable energy. But until we meet those goals, we're a private company, and we don't share those goals until they're met. We share them internally
Yeah.
with employees because it is, I mean, part of being in this industry and in sustainability, you're a change agent, right? And so one of the major challenges in the ski industry, I think, is creating this culture of sustainability.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we have 25 different departments from accounting to vehicle maintenance. And, you know, accounting, finance, you know, there are certain departments, ski and ride school, ski patrol, that have this passion for sustainability. Or we could have, you know, a vehicle maintenance department, their you know, combustible engines is what they do. So the idea of procuring electric equipment doesn't sound great to them, and it's a little intimidating because they're going from a combustible engine to a computer, right? But that's not to say that they're not on board. It's more just meeting them where they're at, and whether that's increasing their education or getting them excited about a new development in electric vehicles and getting them on board. But you know, we don't. It's super collaborative because like one of our main goals is to procure electric, and we've been focusing on EV chargers and increasing our infrastructure here to support electric. But in our industry, electric is a little bit behind, especially considering operating in cold climates. Like we have, you know, 9 snowcats, piston bullies, and Krenos, and piston bully does have an fully electric snowcat, but it takes, you know, 4 hours to charge, and it'll only run for 2 hours, where a diesel snowcat will run for 10 hours.
Yeah.
Right?
Is that just due to like the temperature, the battery's not efficient, or?
I think that considering the weight of a snowcat, the pitch, they said that you might be able to get longer if it was flatter terrain. You know our terrain. So I think technology is just not there, right? I mean, we're talking about 5-ton machines going up a, you know, a pretty steep pitch,
Yeah.
right? With a big blade and, you know, tank tracks. And so I think it's just not there yet. So that's not something that I would go to vehicle maintenance and say, hey guys, I think we need to do this, because in order for me to write a grant for that through Clean Fleet Colorado and the Colorado Department of Energy, you have to retire a snowcat. Well, they're not going to want to retire a snowcat that can operate for a 10-hour shift and replace it for a snowcat that only operate for a 2-hour shift, right?
Yeah.
So it just doesn't always make sense. So what do we do in the meantime? Well, we look into renewable diesel. We do a pilot project about renewable diesel. We look into hybrids, you know. So there are always options. So it's just like including them in the conversation, and maybe their goal is research renewable diesel and consider a pilot project with a 1,000-gallon tank and specifying one snowcat that we practice on, or work with our diesel supplier to see if they can procure renewable diesel, because getting the supplies is what the main challenge is. So yeah, like breaking it off in smaller pieces, and so then by the time you get to the end of the project, they've been involved all along. They're super excited about it, and they're like, we've done this, and this is great.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
My next question is about the like diversity efforts at Eldora. I'm just curious sort of what Eldora is doing to sort of increase diversity in the sport, because I know it can be a little exclusive sometimes.
It's totally exclusive. Yeah, that's under our community pillar. And our 3 main initiatives under community is increasing diversity on the mountain and removing the financial barrier to winter sports. s- local relief, providing local relief. A lot of our employees live in the mountain community, and whether that is helping with utilities or advocating for additional childcare, so we really lean into that, and then also supporting other nonprofits that support the environment. So from the DEI perspective, we've done a number of really cool things. So in the industry, we replace our season rental fleets about every 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on the company. But just for liability reasons, the wear and tear,